Hi, my name is Dean. I'm an alcoholic and an addict, and this is Inside Addiction. Drug abuse costs the United States $181 billion a year. Add in alcohol and tobacco abuse, it exceeds over $500 billion a year cost to the United States. Every dollar spent on treatment programs is a $4 to $7 reduction in cost to drug-related crimes, health insurance costs rising, etc. So what treatment programs work? We know no treatment is appropriate for all individuals. Treatment needs to be readily available. Effective treatment attends to multiple needs of the individual, not just his or her addiction, but the underlying causes of the addiction. An individual's treatment and services plan must be assessed often and modified to meet the person's changing needs as a recovering addict. Remaining in treatment for an adequate period of time is critical for the effectiveness of treatment. Counseling and other behavioral therapies are critical components virtually all effective treatments for addiction. For certain types of disorders, medications are important and in conjunction an element of treatment, especially when combined with counseling and other behavioral therapies. Addicted or drug-abusing individuals with coexisting mental disorders may also have both disorders treated in an integrated way. Medical treatment and medical management of withdrawal syndrome is only the first stage of addiction treatment and by itself does little to change long-term drug use. As in the case with other chronic relapsing diseases, recovery from drug addiction or any addiction can be a long-term process and typically requires multiple episodes of treatment, including booster sessions and other forms of continuing care. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, no one treatment works for every addict. So what kind of treatment programs have we heard of? We've all heard of detox, inpatient, outpatient, group and individual counseling, 12-step programs, medications such as Wellbutrin and Antabuse, which help in the addiction recovery process. We've heard of hypnotizing for cigarette smoking, the patch, Nicorette gum, and lozenges. Today we'll take a look at another alternative treatment in the battle against drug addiction as we go inside acupuncture. Today our guest is New York State acupuncture and detoxification specialist, Janice Irwin. Let's welcome Janice to the show.
Hi, Dean. How are you doing?
Hi, Janice. How are you?
Good.
So why don't you tell us about what you do?
Okay. Well, the acupuncture detoxification specialist, the short term is ADS, or they call us ADSs, work with different clients doing auricular acupuncture. So I'm not an acupuncturist, I'm an acupuncture detox specialist. Certified by New York State, and the national organization is called NADA. So the protocol is commonly called NADA. Okay, I'm doing the NADA protocol, and it's also called AcuDetox. So you'll hear it like both terms. The term NADA started because it means simple, just nothing. Okay, so NADA in Spanish is nothing. And that's really what it's about. It's not about talk therapy. It's not about, you know, some heavy, deep process. It just works with your spirit. It ties your body, mind, and spirit together, balances you, gets your energy back flowing properly. And it's all done in ear points. The training is much shorter than for an acupuncturist who does full body, obviously, because the ear is primarily cartilage. So there's really no, you know, organ danger of piercing organs or anything like that with auricular acupuncture. But it's been around for thousands of years, you know, acupuncture.
How come we've never heard of this?
I think the reason it hasn't been heard of a lot is because it's been exclusive in treatment facilities and in prisons. So if a person wasn't fortunate enough to be in a treatment facility that offered AcuDetox, you wouldn't hear about it. You know, and so many times clients come out of treatment facilities, they don't always have someone to talk to about what treatment they actually had in the treatment facility other than other people at their meetings or that might be in treatment. So I don't think the word has spread as much outside of the treatment community as much as it has within the treatment facility. Dr. Michael Smith at Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx. He's the one who started the protocol in America. He developed the whole protocol. And ever since its inception in the 70s, it has spread now to facilities not only all over America, but abroad also.
So this has been around for almost 40 years?
Yes, that's correct. Yep. It started thousands of years ago with acupuncture in China. But you know, the doors were closed between America and China until the 70s. And what happened was Dr. Smith heard about a Chinese doctor who was using electrodes on the acupuncture needles in auricular acupuncture to help people during withdrawal from anesthetics.
Okay.
Okay, to help the withdrawal process go smoother and quicker and in a healthy way for a patient. So Dr. Smith, I mean, being right in the Bronx in the 70s, he's surrounded by heroin addiction.
Absolutely. That brings me to the question is, and it's funny you brought that up, what sort of addictions right off the bat can acupuncture and what you do help with? Are there particular ones that it helps and ones that you haven't had as much success with?
It helps with addictions all across the board, primarily because what's underlying addiction so often is stress, depression, anxiety. So the treatment is actually, in Dr. Smith's words, bringing the person back to God. So it's actually allowing the true person, the spirit, to be free and come out.
So it's a spiritual process.
In some ways, it's considered a spiritual process. If you are a follower of Oriental medicine, you can see where there's much more of the spiritual connection. People that, you know, follow more energy medicine see how it helps unblock blocked energy passageways, the meridian passages. So it's looked at in a lot of different ways. Of course, more Western scientific people, they try to attempt to, you know, diagnose it or analyze it, I should say, not diagnose it, in terms of like what happens with the nerves and, you know, what messages, it's sending direct messages to the brain. And myself, having received acupuncture for a number of years, I see where it's definitely does bring you closer to God. It's more, it allows you who's inside to be free to come out.
Did you receive acupuncture before you got your certification?
Yes, I did.
Now, how long have you been doing this? You said this has been around almost 40 years.
Yep.
How long have you been doing it?
I just want to back up a little bit with what Dr. Smith did was he is a psychiatrist originally. He still is a psychiatrist. But he began studying what the Chinese doctor was doing with the ear point and the electrodes. And another Chinese doctor that Michael Smith found was doing some similar work. So Dr. Smith, you know, got information from them and started researching and started studying acupuncture in Sri Lanka, Japan, all over, and working with the heroin addicts rather than you know, continuing usage on methadone, which I know you and I have talked about, is really may not be the course of treatment that someone may want to be on. So it helps during heroin withdrawal. So that's sort of how it started ramping up in America, but now it's being used even to help people with breast cancer. So it's spreading out beyond addictions, ADHD, they're having good response with people with that. There's being studies done with breast cancer. Also, they're finding that people with mental illness, it's helping them be able to focus on their treatment plan and help sort of get them, again, back to being themselves more so that they're able to go through their treatment process.
But we're going to come back and we're going to see exactly, because to be honest with you, I'm still a little skeptical. So I want to see it to believe it. We're going to come right back and we're going to see what happens here.